Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of Super Rugby Pacific, and this one is a rematch of finals of the past, Crusaders versus Chiefs. This game taking place at FMG Stadium, so the Chiefs have got that home field advantage. They were able to win away from home last week up against one of the hot favourites, the Blues, and the Crusaders starting their season off right, getting the win over the Hurricanes. But looking through at the way that the table currently sits, as you can see here, these two are at the top, so it is actually a top of the table clash when these two sides go head to head. Brumbies sitting in third, the Force in fourth, and then Waratahs sitting there in fifth. So those are the five winners. Of course, the Reds did not have a game last week, but they'll be kicking off in about 3 hours time up against none other than Moana Pacifica. But bottom of the bunch, the Blues and the Hurricanes, that's not going to stay that way for long. I can tell you that right now. Those two sides will climb throughout the next few rounds. But looking through at the starting lineup for the Chiefs, not a lot of changes compared to what they did have for the last contest. Aidan Ross, Bradley Slater, and George Dyer as the front row. Josh Lord and also, I almost said Tiniela, but of course, Tupavai in that number 5 jersey. Simon Parker, Jerome Brown, and Luke Jacobson slotting in as the number 8. Xavier Rowe and Josh Jacob, the combination that did extremely well up against the Blues. Rameka Poihipi moves into the midfield alongside Anton Leonard-Brown, Leroy Carter, Moni Narawa, and Damian McKenzie at number 15. Leroy Carter seems like a real handful. Noa Tinainana Satoro for this week, so he does transition to the other wing, but will certainly be handy out there in this match up against Sever Reese. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Crusaders, it is Tamaiti Williams, Moananu, and Fletcher Null as the front row. Barrett and Shelfoon will find themselves in the locking duo. Now, Barrett will be hoping to last a little bit longer than he did in the first match, getting that yellow card within the first, I believe it was 3 minutes of that contest. Starting up, Cullen Grace scored himself a try last week. He is there at 6 with Ethan Blackadder, who did look maybe a little bit unsure whether we were going to see him for this match, seeing as he did have an injury last week, but it was just a dislocated finger, if that's a thing you can say just next to, so he's going to be continuing, and Christian Leo Willie there as the number 8. The youngster Kyle Preston, hat-trick last week, coming off the bench early because of the injury of Noah Hotham. He will be there as the starting 9 with Kamara as the 10. David Havili and Levi Amua in the midfield with Reese Fiaki and Will Jordan as the back 3. In the chat, we have got 40 points to 34 in favour of the Chiefs. I know that's changed to 2014 in favour of the Chiefs now, so taking 20 points off each of the sides. It's going to be a hard game for the Crusaders, says Matthew, and midday Hamish says, David the Mole, welcome in. Hope you are keeping well. I find McKenzie is wasted at 15, his impact as 10. For me, it's far greater opinion, says Jack Lewis. Honestly, it's a tricky one for the Chiefs at the moment because they have got a youngster in Josh Jacob who has a lot of potential. And you have to ask the question, who else would they go with at 15? Sean Stevenson, I don't think, is in the question anymore. So do you go Tinainana Satoro at 15 with McKenzie as your 10? Is that something you maybe consider? Because I think it's more of the case of finding someone to replace McKenzie at 15 if he's not playing there. What time is it there now? Says it was there from Mohiuddin. Hopefully I said that correctly, but it is currently 7 p.m, so 5 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest. Hello, Hamish. Hope you're well. I think the Chiefs have this one. I was a bit disappointed last week with the Blues. Big loss for the Blues supporter here from South Africa. Yeah, it certainly wasn't a Blues performance that pretty much anyone saw coming. When you look at the defending champs and what they were able to do throughout 2024, the last thing we expected was not just for them to lose that game, but also to not score a try throughout that fixture. I believe. Was that the case? No. Have I got the wrong score? In fact, we might as well put it up on the screen. I might have had the wrong one in my head there. No, sorry, they got 14 points. I don't know why, but I thought the Blues had 3. Maybe that was actually mine and George's simulation that we played. But of course, they did get themselves over the line a couple of times. Also, I mean, huge scoring games throughout round number 1. 45 points to 44 to close out the weekend for the Western Force and Moana Pacifica. And then, 2 out of the 5 games separated by 1 point. And then most of the others, with the exception of a couple, within that 7 mark. So that is ideal in terms of close games. He's playing tomorrow in the rugby. So tomorrow, tell you what, you're asking all the right questions because we've got all of them right here. Hurricanes versus Fijian draw. That will be the first match that is kicking off on the Saturday. Then from there, Highlanders versus Blues, which is a rematch of the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman final from a couple years ago. Then Brumbies versus Force to close out the round of Super Rugby. So with that being said, though, we are almost at the start of this contest. What do you think about the Sharks versus Bulls game? Says Andre. Was it close one? I commentated that game and my brain has gone blank. To be honest, we've done far too many live streams as of late that I can't remember what games I'm doing on Rugby Challenge or on Rugby 25 and what games are actually happening. 29 points to 19, definitely not the game from the Bulls that we were expecting. They just looked flat. And both of them not having a lot of their players due to injury, but the Sharks came in as about $4 underdogs, I believe. And, you know, it's just one of those ones that definitely didn't go the way that the Bulls would have been anticipating. Are you going to show the game? Sadly, not due to licensing. Any match footage or audio would get us taken straight off YouTube, but we are going to be doing the play-by-play commentary. Got a new member on the channel. It is Chris Hayes as well. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated for your support there. And Kia ora whānau says, reflecting trees. The lads will win tomorrow, mate, says PSG, of course, referring to the Highlanders. But this game taking place at FMG Stadium. Just looking through at that starting lineup, McKenzie and Jacob, the combo. McKenzie doing brilliantly from 15 in last week's game. Quintal Pai actually going to be making his way off the bench to go alongside quite a few of the other strong players that they have got. As Sherbrole told you, I'll sub to the channel. Says Chris H, you certainly did. And we have also got there, I reckon Barrett will be either getting yellow card early or will be getting another yellow card early so he can keep his record intact. Tell you what, he's going to be like any quicker than he got it in that last one. The thing is, it wasn't even foul play. It was just the case of just too many breakdown penalties in a row going against the Crusaders. They are just showing that back three, Fiaki, Reese, and Will Jordan. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that for the Crusaders, so they will want to make a real impact here out there in Waikato. But looks like a decent crowd piling in. 20 degrees Celsius, 20 kilometers an hour of wind. Sounds like the wind is kind of pushed that rain a little bit away. And so it's the winning DMAC to be yellow carded, says Chris Hayes. So what's he being yellow carded for? Is it like, I assume, like foul play, I don't think's on the cards for McKenzie, just because like he hasn't really got that kind of record. So maybe like a deliberate penalty just out from the line is the only way I can think of him actually getting a card for something, or a deliberate knockdown maybe. But yeah, I don't think it would be foul play. It looks like some heavy strapping on the wrist of Will Jordan. That will be something to keep an eye on. But the talk of the town, Kyle Preston. Last week, 71 minutes, was definitely not supposed to have that many, but with the injury that did come, it meant that they did need a change. Gained 30 metres, scored 3 tries, and he only had his debut last week. Tinakoto Amatu says reflecting trees, but now the Chiefs just about to make their way out of the changing sheds. Just talking about that brilliant effort last week, getting themselves the wins as Ramadan next week, Saturday or Sunday, says Mahuddin. And we have got there, do you think we have any chance tomorrow? I was about to ask who your side was, but I think the name slightly gives it away. Honestly, like, both sides will be hurting. Highlanders were a lot closer to winning their game up against the Tars than the Blues were beating the Chiefs. So I think that if they can stay competitive, plus it's at Forsyth Bar, so that gives them that home field advantage to have in their favour. I think it will be closer than some people are predicting, which is good. I have a Chiefs and Reds double 150 to return 250, $100 profit. Is this going to win? It depends, to be honest. Like, Super Rugby's always one that any gambler will tell you, or any good gambler normally will tell you, don't bet on Super Rugby, because you're more than likely going to lose. But it can happen. You pick 2 favourites, so, you know, favourites win normally, so you should be all right. The Chiefs were handed that game by a bad referee calls. I wouldn't guarantee that. I think that the Blues were lackluster. They were, like you said, or pretty much said there, infringing way too often. and any momentum that they had got taken away as soon as that streaker took to the field. Chiefs got the scrum. They managed to work their way down the field and score the match-winning try. So if you're going to blame anyone, don't blame the ref. Blame the bloke who got naked, which is often a phrase that I try to avoid using, but it's the case in this one. And Blues will win tomorrow, Mish, says Chris, and I says Paula, welcome in. You are doing extremely well. And Mighty Waikato Chiefs says Christopher, but do let me know, of course, your try scorer predictions for this match, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think will be the first man to cross the try line? Crowd sounds loud at the moment. So it's now legal to go behind your own players. Kiwi Lad says Kiwi Rob. So in that case, that's one example, but I don't remember them losing by less than 7. Like, it's all well and good blaming a ref for that game, because like we go into the matches looking at it from an impartial point of view, and what we saw was, yes, there could have been 1 or 2 bad decisions, but at the end of the day, they still looked awful at times, the Blues, unfortunately, and it won't be the case all season. We will see them get better, we'll see them step up, and we will probably see them at least make it to the semi-finals, but for now, they got beaten on the day by a better Chiefs side. And, you know, it happens. Win predictor at the moment, 70% in favour of the Chiefs. Blues just rusty like the Crusaders team. Exactly right. And I think that the perfect comparison is the fact that the Crusaders, even though they were rusty, they adapted that little bit quicker. The Blues got stuck in a bit of a rut and they couldn't quite get out of it. By the way, 66-12, Blues women won. Yeah, they were very dominant. Super Rugby Alpaki. That's going to be kicked off straight into touch by the youngster Kamara. So now it's going to be a scrum on the halfway line for the Chiefs to start this contest. Well, start this contest off, but we did, of course, see the early situation. What we're going to try and do, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but we're going to try and block the sun, ladies and gentlemen. We still haven't got curtains on that side after a couple more renovations. If I stick this here, it's not going to work. Right, we're just going to hold up a bit of paper so that I can block the sun until the sun goes down, or else you will see literally that. Unless I've got like a box. Oh, in fact, one moment. Oh, it's just not quite tall enough. Hang on, we're playing Stack'ems at the moment. There we go. We got a box with a controller on it, and we're good. Go the Chiefs. Greetings from Arania. Hamish says, good hard, welcome in. Now scrum feed on the halfway line. Josh Jacob at 10, Mackenzie at 15, situated directly behind each other on the right-hand side of the scrum. Is it going to be effective? Going off to the left. In fact, they're going to ignore them. They're going to go instead to Anton Leonard-Brown, who is in the starting lineup for this match. Xavier Rowe going for the kick in behind and does get it out. Won't be a 50-22, but it will be a Crusaders line out about 25 metres from their line. Which way they're running, says Deku. So as we look at it from the main camera, Chiefs are going right to left. The Crusaders now just out from their own line. It looks like the sun has pretty much disappeared, which is good news for the players. Not having to look straight into it. Red cards for kicking out on the full. Straight away, says Matthew. Good defensive effort there from Tupovai to force Crusaders just that little bit further backwards. What's your plans for the Women's World Cup towards the end of the year? I think we are going to be doing some of those games. The time zone's going to be interesting, and depending on overlaps and whatnot, but we're hoping to do at least some of it on the channel. But now that looks like it could be close to a Chiefs turnover here. Couldn't quite get their hands onto the pill, though. Bradley Slater giving it a fair old crack. When will they include Super Rugby teams into the Champions Cup? I want to see them compete with Leinster and Toulouse. Would be electric. I know the distance is the problem. They are going to... Well, they're looking at a Club World Cup in about 2026 or 7 or something like that. Maybe even 2028. But it's just whether or not they can find a way of doing it without causing sides to get overworked. Now Xavier Rowe, Chiefs in possession. 40 metres out from the line, Mackenzie. Short pop pass up to Anton Leonard-Brown. Ball on the outside to Leroy Carter. Got some brilliant finishing skill. We see that week in, week out in the sevens, but that is going to be now a line out for the Chiefs. Young 9, Preston driven into touch. They have started with a hiss and a roar here, the home side. Have you seen that car painted as an NYPD police car in your town? It was on Paul Street. I have, yes. Leonard-Brown, good pass. Going out to Leroy Carter, who had a lot of work to do and somehow finds an offload as he was getting driven into touch. Keeps the position in favour of the Chiefs. 3 minutes in. Now nicely taken by the big man, Josh Lord. Slater's got his hands on it. They'll be about 10 metres out from the line. Angus Gardner telling them to use it once. Still not really going anywhere. And now they have to use it. Rowe goes across to Rameka Poihipi. He had a pretty strong season last year. Of course, Quintupai starting at 12-4 last week. There's going to be an advantage against Scott Barrett for playing the 9. Luckily, it's one of the first penalties against the Chiefs, against the Crusaders, so he probably won't get sent to the bin this time. Now Rowe, back across to Jacobson, tackled by Grace. Rowe pops it up. This is a good phase play at the moment. This looks like maybe a bit of an injury here for Jacobson. He's kind of holding his head. Now, I think him and Cullen Grace did collide pretty hard. And yeah, he's not looking in a good way. In fact, this might be the nose of Jacobson. He hasn't even pulled his pants back up. That's how you know a man's hurt. Now, 3 metres out from the line, Tupavai. They're going to go off to the right. Pops it up to Slater. No, getting very close. Aiden Ross. He's held up, but they'll go back for the original penalty. How do you watch the game live? The live option for us here in New Zealand is Sky Sport 1. So I would recommend checking that one out. Oh no. Says reflecting trees. Yeah, doesn't look good for Luke Jacobson. I think his nose got bent. And Namoni Narawa over the line. Quick tap taken by the Chiefs. That's an interesting one. I think that because the referee had said it was the penalty, there was no stoppage. I think David Havili's going over now saying we were waiting for the injured player to get off the field. But play to the whistle. And Moni Narawa takes it quickly, drops his head and goes over for the first try of the contest. Meanwhile, Luke Jacobson probably couldn't see it because his eyes are probably watering from that big knock to the nose, which he has gone from the field for. What about D-Mac at Scrummy, says Super Dad Chris. And Sandsport and Aussie. He's an All Black all day, says Reflecting Trees. You talking about Amoni Narawa or you're talking about Luke Jacobson? Now, Damien McKenzie close to the touchline. He will have the chance to kick this one. That'll certainly be, I would think, the only time the Crusaders are caught out with that throughout the season. They will always be watching now. Great kick from McKenzie. Right over by the touchline. And that will make the score now 7-0 in favour of the Chiefs. But Amoni Narawa getting on the try sheet already. Had Leroy Carter with him. That was always going to be tough for the Crusaders to defend. Just talking about it, Tino Nana Satoro not out there because of ripping his hamstring last week. In fact, a good place to go is the Super Rugby website if you want to see all of the injuries that these sides have. It's honestly insane. The amount of players that are down currently and that won't be returning anytime soon. But it gives more opportunity. Someone like a Preston, we saw what happened for him last week. A bit of a soloist try, but he saw the opportunity, says David the Mod. And Crusaders champion top of the table, says Ruslan lead. Well, the champs are now 7-0. Down here comes Will Jordan. Tackled by Josh Lord. And on to the ball, Simon Parker. All but gets the turnover. Scott Barrett, little pop pass up to Blackadder. Kamara tries to pick and go. Rowe drags him down. Now Preston off to Christian Leo Willie. Missed tackle there for Dyer, but it doesn't cost them too many extra metres. Hello, Ola and Monkey Spunk. Come on, the Chiefs. Says Drape, and beautiful try tuning in from Japan on a snowboarding break. Come on, the Mighty Chiefs, says Tomo. And counter ruck coming from the Chiefs, and they have managed to turn this ball over. It's knocked on by Blackadder. And now the Chiefs looking to kick this one downfield. Jay Fiaki. They'll actually go back for the original scrum. But big shot from Tupovai on Ethan Blackadder, and he just, in the counter ruck loses possession. He's had a tough start to this contest, already taken a couple big hits. Vai had the radar tuned straight towards Blackadder for that one. And we're looking now at Luke Jacobson. He's going off the field. It's actually for an HIA for Luke Jacobson. We're going to see it now. Cullen Grace. I mean, it was head on head, and then he took a shoulder to the chin. Wasn't looked at, though. I'm a Blues fan all the way from South Africa, but I think the Chiefs will take this one. says Peter. And Chiefs to score over 28 points is my bet, says Tig. Currently 8 minutes in, and it is going to be another scrum. We've had quite a few of them throughout the early stages of this match. Playing a little bit of the Backstreet Boys around FMG Stadium. Crowd are absolutely loving it. But now, Xavier Rowe. Got an interesting setup here, the Chiefs. 4 men on the near side, 2 on the far side. And you'd assume that, yep, they're going to the left. Josh Jacob goes across to Rameka Poihipi. Tackled by Havili. Chiefs have had a majority of possession throughout the early point of this match. Ball bobbles out the side, but it is still regathered by the Chiefs. Dyer now held up by Grace as well as Shelthun, but he gets the pass away to Anton Leonard-Brown. Ball was out. Cullen Grace jumps on it, and unfortunately, though, you're not allowed to leave your feet. If that ball comes out, you're allowed to grab it, but... Oh no. Rameka Poihipi's holding his knee, or the hamstring as well. Hopefully, it's not going to be a season of hamstring injuries here for the Chiefs, but he does not look in a good way. He's got the hands over the eyes. Doesn't look good. Do you think the Highlanders will be in the final? It's going to be tough for them, don't get me wrong. There are some great sides here throughout the season. What part of New Zealand do you stay, Hamish? So I am in the South Island, about halfway up. I think is the best way. Ooh. Yeah, there's a grimace on his face. Now, I thought at the time he had slipped, but he didn't. That was actually his body going down. We have got there, I'm at the game, says Crack22. Have you got a picture of the same car as Chris? Cracked? We've got that one. No, never mind. Okay, they're both white. That's about the knowledge of cars that I have. But looks like Quintupai is going to have to make his way onto the field after, once again, another early injury. Now he has to step up. The last man that came on early, though, in terms of the Crusaders season, managed to score a hat-trick, so it could be quite good for Tupai here. And Chiefs are looking good. Hamish says good hard. Is he going to continue? I don't know if this is smart from Rameka Poihipi if he's going to try and continue in this match. I think it's the knee, maybe, the outside tendon. But I wouldn't continue if I was him. Like, if he does something more serious now, yep, they're going to make the sub. You can't risk it. It is a long season. He's walking with a slight limp at the moment, but could have been a lot worse if he tried to push off it again. Could have gone very wrong for him. We have got there. Do you think the Highlanders will be in the final or they will not go that far? I think they'll be in the quarters. And, you know, depending on who they play in the quarters, they could even find themselves in the semi. It's a tough competition. Why not a purple car, says Drape? Because the pictures of the cars were white. So we just said what we saw. Oh, a rush defence from Ethan Blackadder, but he's just given the ball straight back to the Chiefs. So he did all the hard work, got the turnover, and then said, hang on, you were holding on to it before, so you might as well have it again. Now 22 metres out from the line and 22 on the back of Quintupai. A bit of a fumble from Leonard-Brown. Somehow manages to regather, sits up for Moni Narawa. Low tackle from Havili. He's been busy throughout the early parts of this match. Already 10 minutes in and another advantage going the way of the Chiefs. Summer Penny Fee now goes across to Jacob. Leonard-Brown puts it on the grubber. Will Jordan is back to cover. And they will go back for another penalty. I think Will Jordan thought Quintupai was going to help him up to his feet. Kind of extended the hand and got shut down. Right, Angus Gardner's pretty much said to Havili, mate, we've had a lot of penalties in this part of the field. Okay, putting them on the warning. Discipline's got to be better. The exact words from the ref. So that pretty much means any more from here, and they might find themselves in a little bit of trouble. But the Chiefs, it looks like they are actually going to take on the 3 points here. Do you think the Blues will go back-to-back titles, or do you think it's not true, says Levi? I think they will be in the top 4. In terms of any further than the top 4, it's always very hard to tell because, of course, we need to slightly know who's going to be playing who because, you know, we could see them play the Chiefs, we could see them play the Crusaders, the Hurricanes, Brumbies, could be anyone. Dream final, Chiefs versus Highlanders. with Chiefs being too strong, says Gerhard. How's your club cricket going, says Super Dad Chris? It's going all right. I haven't actually played in the last, I think, 3 weeks. And I won't be, last 2 weeks, and I won't be playing tomorrow either, just because we've got too many streams, so I can't commit to both. So I've chosen the streaming side of things. So be sure to pop in tomorrow, ladies and gents. That kick has gone over, so that's going to make the score 10 points to 0. That man had an interesting haircut, and he also wrote with a marker Chiefs on his stomach. Commitment is impressive. Oh, straight into the sun. Lost it there was Tupavai, but it's gone over his head to Quintupaya. Now Xavier Rowe. Going off to the left. Going to be a big shot on Anton Leonard Brown by Fletcher Null. Moananu tried to get the turnover, wasn't able to. This ref is just pathetic. Chiefs penalty all day. Says rock my balls. This ref is just pathetic. Chiefs penalty all... Wait, so you're saying it should have been a penalty when it was? Or you're saying the ref's been too harsh on the Crusaders' ill discipline? Which one? That's going to be... Yeah, that could have been the Crusaders. Getting the penalty there. Shelfoon goes back across to Levi Amua. Cullen Grace fends off Amoni Narua. Tries to spin out of it. I'm watching your stream from Vietnam, says Diddy. Welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. That's another big shot coming in. The Crusaders have still got the ball. There's a lot of physicality. That time it was Jerome Brown. Too harsh on the Crusaders. You think? I don't think any of the penalties against them have been, wrong overall. The Barrett one was obvious. He just flopped over the middle of the breakdown and slowed it down. What other ones have we had? There was I can't even remember the other ones, but I don't think they've been awful. That's going to be penalty now in favour of the Crusaders. I went to Loftus for the Sharks versus Bulls, says Irvin. And Hurricanes versus Blues Dream final. It was the first ever Super Rugby game in 1996, Palmerston North. Also my first rugby game, 31st May 2024. 14. Right, the Crusaders have a decision to make. Do they want to go for the corner? It is the mindset that they had all throughout their game up against the Hurricanes last week. Canes opted for threes every once in a while, and it did cost them a little bit. And yeah, the Sharks boo white cards, says Drape. I'm going to go to Loftus again for the first of the March for the Bulls versus Stormers. Be another great South African derby. Right, line out, throw for Moananu. Goes into Cullen Grace, slaps it onto the side of the Crusaders. Blackadder. Now chance for Preston. Kamari has knocked it on. Is he, or is it going to be play on? It looks like it's going to be play on. And Severis now has got the possession. I'm watching from Vietnam. Says Jeffrey there. Off to the right. Cullen Grace again will try and make those couple extra metres. Tupavai, his tackling has looked on point today. Big run from Barrett. Tackled by Brown. Now across, Will Jordan finds himself in a fly half roll. My two favourite sides, even though I'm from Auckland, up the Chiefs. Now Will Jordan wide, cut out pass, goes to Chefiaki. The near side of the field, Xavier Rowe, one of the turnover. Been having Auckland weather in Arania, Hamish. Been raining all night. Says Gerhardt. Now Christian Leo Willie. Oh, Bradley Slater all right. He was doing something with his arms. It looked like he was kind of shaking one of them out. But he looks like he's going to be okay. Does also have a whole heap of cotton shoved up his nose just to stop it from bleeding. There's been a few big hits in the first 15 minutes of this game. If both of these sides can get out of it with only the amount of injuries they have currently, it's probably a decent effort. He was dancing, says Chris Hayes. Now Preston on the halfway line. Crusaders not really making any metres. In fact, losing about 10, so opting for the kick. And now they've managed to retain it. Here comes the run from Cullen Grace. Straight at McKenzie. Preston cross to Blackadder. Numbers on the left. Havili nicely held on to. Knocked backwards by Moni Narua. I think twice, in fact. Havili wanted the deliberate knockdown, but it was knocked backwards, which pretty much takes that completely away. Now Will Jordan slowly jogging back towards the defensive line. Manages to get through one. Preston Across to Scott Barrett. These two sides are going to be buggered by half time. There's been hardly any real long stoppages. Another offload. Blackadder's dropped the ball though, but they will go back for the original penalty. And it's going to be against Jerome Brown for not rolling away. Like they've just said, energy sapping type of game for these two sides. It is not going to be an easy half. Throughout the second 40, Kamada once again will kick this one towards the touchline. So stick in with that aggressive mindset. And we have got the all-in with the laughing from reflecting trees. But yeah, it was just a forward pass from Shelfoon trying to find Levi Moore initially. That was another one that Crusaders thought maybe could have been a penalty, but it's all cleared. Now Kamada again. How tall is, not Kamada, Ioane Moa Nanu? I don't think he'd be much taller than Xavier Rowe. Short and stout, as they say. Like a teapot. Now, kicking it downfield, Leroy Carter. Nice clearance from the Sevens superstar. I'm at the game, says Novmum. And so hopefully you are enjoying it. They did mention how there was rain earlier on, so hopefully that is all cleared and you're not going to get wet. And draw to win tomorrow, says him. Now going off to the left-hand side. David Harvelli pop pass up to Levi Moore. Now Preston off to the right again. Shelfoon. Goodbye Lord. Any meters that the Crusaders are making, they have had to work extremely hard for them. Credit to the Chiefs defence to this point. Jacobson. No, in fact, that time it was Slater. Going to get penalised for not rolling away. And now, another penalty advantage. 2 in a row. So this is not going well for the Chiefs at the moment. Starting to give away a few more. Will Jordan trying to find a gap, manages to offload it back to Che Fiaki. Not on purpose. Moa Nanu going for a chip in behind. Forgetting he was the number 2, but they'll go back now for another penalty. Justin Marshall's opinion is that they should take the 3 from here, being 10 down. But, okay, Angus Gardner's just gone to the Chiefs. If I'm going to be consistent, it means that I've got to warn you guys too for the amount of penalties you've given away. That's now 3 in a row. The first 3 of the match went against the Crusaders. Next 3 against the Chiefs. And we have got their nice line out still for the Chiefs, says Gerhard. And the Hurricane says him there. Good game, Canes versus draw. I'm a Canes fan, but love the Island Brothers, and added 4 Rebels player to my fantasy for tonight. One's going to be kicked into touch, a very nice one. And it looks like Luke Jacobson, he's not in any hurry to make his way back out onto the field. I think he's got a broken nose by the looks of that. Nose looked like a compass. Now, Moananu. Nicely taken now. 10 metres out from the line. Blackadder's going to use it quickly at the maul. Preston across to Harvelli. Now, Leo Willie. A little bit of extra work in the breakdown from Quintal Pyer, but not able to get the turnover. Now, Blackadder. He's had a couple loose carries, but he's hung on to that one 18 minutes in now. It's still 10 points to nil, but Crusaders trying to change that, and they are on the verge. Getting within the 5 metres. Cullen Grace losing about 3. Sever Reese, pick and go. I believe that's his first carry of the contest. Pick and go from Blackadder. Now 5 metres out for the Crusaders to Mighty Williams. He'll go off to the left. Now close to the turnover there, and I think it is Amoni Narawa who has got in there. Yes, it is. Who's popped up with the turnover. Mighty Williams got close to the line, but just hanging on to it. And great to hear. And Angus Gardner, probably the number 1 ref in World Rugby today, Hamish, in my humble opinion, says Gerhard. Yeah, he certainly can control a game, which is one thing that at times when you're watching for a couple of the other refs, you think, oh, yeah, nah, this one's kind of lost its structure. But, you know, some would say that he's strict, but at the same time, you know what you're going to get from a game, if that makes sense. Now, chance here for the line out. I can name a better ref, says Jack Lewis. And which one would that be, Jack? Now Xavier Rowe goes off to Josh Jacob. So already the Chiefs in this contest have lost Jacobson and Rameka Poihipi, and we are only a quarter of the way through the contest. Running forward was Sevu Reece. Tackled on the halfway line. Need D-Mac, Anton Leonard Brown and some Crusaders players to do good, says Highlanders fan. Now Preston. Off to Moananu, Will Jordan, shovels it along to Shelfoon. Now Kamara, bit of acceleration, passes on the outside to Cullen Gray, steps round, Xavier Rowe, offloads on the inside. Preston will have his fourth, and he's only played 90 minutes of Super Rugby, but great run from Grace to set him up, put it on a platter for him. And Kyle Preston, support run and a half, once again, has got himself another try. And well said, Amish against Gerhard. We need O'Keefe to ref Crusaders. Next match says rock my balls. And O's number 5 for the Crusaders. He's huge. That is Antonio Shelfoon. He's a big boy. But great run. I think yes, it's a great finish from Preston, but the step from Cullen Grace to step round a halfback is normally not easy to do. And how's it going? Says some run, welcome in. You are doing well. Luke Pearce, quality, speaks multiple languages also, says Jack. Yeah, he's right up there as well in terms of the best referees around. That kick's going to go over from Shea Fiaki, in fact, who will be the man lining up the kick in front of the Pigs. Kyle Preston, tell you what, anyone who had him for the Super Rugby Fantasy will be absolutely loving it at the moment. 4 tries across 2 games. And just scores the try. That gives the Crusaders a chance to get closer at halftime. That try was inevitable. Says David, I did you. What do you mean you did me? Or is that like you told me? Maybe? What do you mean by you did you? Like what does that mean? Now Christian Leo Willie. Now going to be tackled just out from their own 22 here, the Crusaders. Another run from Blackadder. And come on, the Chiefs, says Christopher. And Crusaders score a nice try morning from South Africa. I forgot it's 7 p.m. in New Zealand. Says Sakili there. Yeah, there's going to be some interesting hours that we are following throughout this weekend. I think I did a little bit of calculating earlier on, and we've got about 24 hours of talking throughout this weekend. So you guys surely will be sick of me by the end of it. That kick hasn't quite found the 22 Preston for the All Blacks 2025. Certainly could be a bolter. We know that every once in a while, Scott Robinson does like to call upon a Crusader if needed. Sevu Reece offloads to Antonio Shelfoon. Who's the Chiefs half? It is Xavier Rowe. But yeah, not used to seeing him get stepped. Definitely not by a forward. Can his Chiefs score another try before half-time? And we have got there home for a tight finish. And join the call from the Scottish borders, says Paul. It is great to have you here. We are going to be covering Scotland versus England later on in the Six Nations. Another good tackle. He's too young. Isn't he older than Wallace Satiti? I could be wrong. I don't think Satiti's too old either. And now never. A great show. Better than the TV commentator, says Drape. Now, sitting on the halfway line, the Crusaders hanging on to this one. Oh, Fletcher Null holding his head there. He's trying to say maybe it was a bit high. And this is going to make it worse because Quinton Byer almost managed to get the turnover. The crowd are not happy about it. Now Will Jordan, attack and run, goes on the outside to Sevu Reece, has Jordan on the inside who just knocks it on. And McKenzie passes it back across to Josh Lord, who will sink the slipper into it off the left. And it's a good kick too, to be fair, into the 22 of the Crusaders. He can't fit into the box game style, says Rock. My ball's there, and go Crusaders, says Nina. Now, going to be... Oh, it's a high tackle. He can't fit into the box game style. Wait, who are you talking about? Are you talking about the same guy, Rock My Balls? Because we're talking about the 25-year-old. Yeah, that is a shoulder to the head of Fletcher. No, he was slightly dipping, but it's still probably going to be something. But, and yeah, he's also a New Zealander, Kyle Preston. Yeah, he doesn't look happy about it, Fletcher no either. Yes, Kyle Preston. So you're saying because he doesn't fit into one opposition style throughout the whole year, it means that you wouldn't select him? In that case, I'm surprised. Well, you probably weren't selecting Geordie Barrett after the last World Cup. Then this is going to be a yellow card for Tupovai. And rubbish, not that I can see, says Reflecting Tree. So yeah, shoulder to the head. Even though it was dipping and even though there could have been some sort of mitigation, they have still decided Vai will be going to the bin for the next 10 minutes. He didn't even realise it was him that was getting penalised for it. Yes, he needs more games, says Rock My Balls, and you feel then he will be able to fit into the box game style like you're asking for. By not playing the box, but by playing other teams that aren't the box. I get you. 24 minutes in, 16 minutes remaining of the first half, and 10 of those will involve the Chiefs being down to 14. And go the Crusaders, says Nanis. Now getting ready to line this one up towards the touchline. Hi, Hamish, trust you are well. Doing very well, thank you, Ilmar. Hopefully you are as well. You cannot play Crusaders with 14 men, no way, says Gerhard, and that is normally when they step it up, isn't it? They find a way of just finding that next gear. Now line out throw, penalties conceded. Currently sitting 4-4. The Chiefs and the Crusaders have actually both been warned that too many more in front of their own goal line will lead to more than likely someone going to the bin. But the Crusaders in possession now. In the middle of the field, 30 metres out, Kyle Preston goes off to the right-hand side now. Pressure on Kamara, sneaks through Will Jordan. He's dropped it again. I don't think we've ever seen him drop so many. Oh, why is that card given to the Chiefs? So it was to do with the shoulder of Tupovai. Now, I felt like Null was ducking enough, and also he was already being tackled. So, you know, you're in that scenario of, oh, what a kick. Or was it? Is it a 50-22? It's a 50-22 from Damian McKenzie. That's almost a 22-22, wasn't it? It's got a bit of a cut on the chin by the looks of it. Oh, yeah, fair enough. Says Rock My Balls. I vouch for them both, but I'm a Chiefs, or I'm in the Chiefs area. So that one's just skidded on. McKenzie, I don't even think he timed it the way that he wanted to. It just kept on rolling. And now 50-22, Chiefs in a great position. Beautiful D-Max is Reflecting Trees. The ref playing totally spoil the game. This is shocking, says Steven. So I assume that's to do with that yellow card. And AO says, Brandon, welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. Now, Xavier Rowe goes back across to Josh Lord. And Killer Kick D-Max says, Gerhard, yeah, fantastic one from Damian McKenzie. And gets it pretty much exactly where he would have been after. Even though, like I said, I don't think he expected it to skid on as much as it did, and it just kept on going. Now, chance here. Josh Jacob goes off to George Dyer. Still have this one about 35 out. Ethan Blackadder losing his footing and kind of slapping into the breakdown. Crusaders seem to have some mongrel this year compared to last season. What's changed? Honestly, not a huge amount. They've had a little bit more time to get used to the players that they've got. Yes, there's a couple new guys in there. And also, they've got the return of Will Jordan, which cannot be underestimated. A couple other guys back too. But just they needed a season under their belt with so many changes. And I think a lot of people assumed that they would just be able to go on and continue the Crusaders' dominance that they had for years and years. But losing 12, 13 All Blacks in one season was always going to make it a bit of an upwards battle. But yeah, they're looking a lot more structured this year, I think. Which is a massive bonus for them. Go the Chiefs, D-Mac looking good, says Drape. Just an accidental kick, guys. They didn't mean it, says Rock My Balls. So now it's going to be kicked downfield from Kyle Preston, and it's going to go into touch, about maybe 30 metres out from the line. Chiefs have got themselves another line out, already 4 minutes almost of the Tupovai. Okay, it's going to stay as a yellow card for the change of dynamic. That's something that I thought would actually make it okay, so they pretty much said because Quintapaya made the tackle initially, that's not straight from the Chiefs. Yeah, that is why it's going to stay as a yellow, but Vai does not look happy about it. To be fair, he's had a very good game up to this point. D-Max slotting in at 10 for the Bulls. One can only dream, says Gerhard. And Crusaders need a defensive game like the Blues as well. Crusaders need a defensive game like Blues as well. Although, of course, not the best example of the Blues' defence last game. Last season, yes, absolutely. But yeah, last week, they conceded much more than they wanted to. Anton Leonard-Brown goes on the outside to Quinn Tupaia now. Oh, Jordan got his head kind of rocked backwards there by Quinn Tupaia, smiling about it too. I think he realised that he got his head in the slightly wrong position. Now Xavier Rowe back across to the right. Damien McKenzie in the middle of the field has all the options in the world. Cullen Grace tried to rush up. In fact, it was Blackadder who misses it. Chiefs first half money line says adventures with Brandon. I'm not sure of their money line, to be honest, but they were favourites going into this game, but I'm not sure about the halftime one. Xavier Rowe going back across to the right-hand side. Aiden Ross sitting about 15 metres out. Oh, Quinn Tupaia, I think he's had it was either his watch or maybe his heart rate monitor ripped off him. So he's just chucked it to the sideline for now, but we will go back for the original penalty in favour of the Chiefs. Right. This is going to be a kickable 3. Mackenzie's going to kick it to the corner. Justin Marshall just pretty much said they'll kick it over for the 3 because they have a man down. And the Chiefs pretty much went, no, we won't. We're going to put it into the corner. We're going to try and score a 7. We have got there none of the New Zealand Super Rugby teams are looking to charge down the halfback at the back of the rucks. Sears Grant. And we have got there Crusaders need a defensive game. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? D-Mac looking good. Says Draven go the Chiefs. Says Akayo. Now, another line out throw coming in. Bradley Slater gets it to the front. And it's nicely claimed by Simon Parker. They've been told to use it once. Crusaders defending this one quite nicely. Right, Rowe has to use it. Goes off to the right. Snipes almost straight through. Yes, he does. Preston wasn't able to drag him down. And neither was Shalfoon, I think, was the other man trying to slow him down. I'm from the USA, can't watch the game. Says adventure was Brandon. That one's going to go in. Xavier Rowe. So the mentality of the Chiefs to go, you know what, we're down a man, but this is a great chance to score a try. And that's exactly what they did. Xavier Rowe with a pick and go like he's in Rugby 25. That's about all you can do at times when you try and use your back line. Rowe didn't need anyone else. Pushes through Preston, gets round Blackadder, and Shalfoon was too late to be able to get through. I told you Preston's too young. Okay, so one slight defensive error means give him 5 more years. I get you. And a lovely little break, says Grant. Yeah, just brilliant work from Xavier Rowe. Momentum of that rolling maul was slightly shifting them towards the side. Are you doing the Reds game after, says Jack Lewis? Yes, we are. Reds versus Moana Pacifica, their first contest of the year. Up the Chiefs, says other side of the fence. Any update on young Hotham's injury? I know it's ankle. In fact, I can actually give you a bit more information than that. One moment. 2 more years. One moment. That is, of course, 2 more years reading the comment, not 2 more years till he comes back. Injury update for Noah Hotham. Noah Hotham, where is he? Okay, they've actually got the whole list of injuries for the Crusaders. They haven't actually got Noah Hotham there, so it must still be a to-be-confirmed type of situation for him, but I believe it was an ankle. Oh, nice offload on the inside. Che Fiaki, they're only going to be about 10 metres out from the line now for the Crusaders on the counter-attack. Preston, a lot of pressure on him, but he has done extremely well to keep that ball on the side of the Chiefs. On the side of the Crusaders. Will Jordan now. Wide cut-out pass. David Arvelli goes to Severies. Missed tackle from McKenzie, but Jacob finishes it. Itenai. No, I'm only another one, in fact. Almost got the steal to Mighty Williams with the pick and go. Preston short side and passed into touch from Moananu. Fix your score, says SG. Scored 17 points to 7, of course. Online scoreboard. Sometimes updates, sometimes doesn't. But yeah, great work from Levi and Moore to be able to keep this ball in the field of play. And SG's coming out with the shots fired by the looks of it. I will fix the score when you fix your face. But now 5 metres out from the line. And the Chiefs have got themselves the line out. It's going to be tough for them. Come on, the Crusaders, says Chris Hayes. I do not give Crusaders the ball, says Gerhard. Very good advice. Oh, they just have almost, no, the bounce of the ball It wasn't straight, though, from the Chiefs, so they actually have given the Crusaders the ball now. I've first fixed that hairline. Says SG. It's not that bad. I can always go bald, but, you know, it is what it is. And now, going off, quick tap, 5 metres out from the line. Christian Leo Willie to Tamaiti Williams. He is very close to the try line now, the big man. Preston, interception from Josh Jacob. Oh, no, they're going back. I heard the whistle. Yep, 5 metres out from the line. Now nicely taken, Sevu Reece, quick tap off to Blackadder, and he will go in for another try. Not that bad, you Delulu. Anyone who uses the word Delulu just goes down so much in rating, don't they? Like, I know the 9-year-olds and the TikTokers all use it, so maybe go back to that platform, Preston. That's a great initial steal, I thought, from Jacob, but offside was the call up. The Satyr, says Chris Hayes. I don't know nothing about rugby, just put 1,000 on the Chiefs first half. It's probably not sitting... Well, it'll be a tricky one. So they just have to lead at halftime, I assume, is the case. But it's going to be another one for the Crusaders. Blackadder gets it. And Davey, you're so right. You become a champion only by playing amongst champions, says Gerhard. And we have got the... that's an Irish hairline, I reckon, says Rock My Balls. Yeah, I'm rocking the Jameson Gibson Park. I think I'm acoustic, says Music Rocks. Well, that's probably good in your case with acoustic instruments. My guy got an assist, says Islanders fan. That is great work. That close to the try line. And we've got that, how much data do you need to stream every time you do live streaming? It's quite a few gigabytes. We have before, when we haven't had the Wi-Fi, like when it's cut out or like there's been any sort of data issue, like you could use probably 8 gigabytes, somewhere around there. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, I got a hefty data bill when the Wi-Fi cut out and I had to stream it with data. In fact, it cost, I'm not even going to say how much it costs. Probably like a season pass for Super Rugby, though, for one live stream. So that wasn't the best move. But now, nicely met on the halfway line. Josh Jacob, 8 is outrageous, says Rock My Balls, and says Islanders fan. But now Rowe, back across, and yeah, you got this Crusader, says Nina. And Kyle Preston should be an All Black, says Music Rocks. Don't tell Rock that, because he wants to give him a couple more years. Go Sevu. Says Nanese, nice take from Jordan, off to Kyle Preston, back across. And now nice run forward from Kamara. Both sides are actually having some really nice play here in terms of just finding free-flowing rugby. A lot of space. Sevu Reece goes for the 50-22 and the ball just bounces back in field. Chief says Bhavani. Go Preston, says Chris Hayes. And once again, another decent gain territory-wise for the Crusaders. Hello, don't drag me into your race wars. Are we over there? Yes. I am informed the chat about Kyle Preston, says Rock My Balls. He's looking good this game, though. Had some good moments. 4 tries. Now thrown in. It's gone over the top. Nicely claimed by David Havili. Only a couple minutes out from halftime. Kyle Preston goes back across to Scott Barrett. And how often do they pick a 3-man line-out? Not very. Like, sometimes you consider it if you're looking for the rolling ball. But overall, like, we normally see them go to the middle more than anything. Now, Moananu goes to Leo Willie again. Now, cross, Kamara trying to get through, but a great tackle by Leroy Carter. And he might have got the turnover. Yes, he did. He's a brilliant player. And he's just one of those guys who manages to get in every breakdown that he needs to. And just changes the game. I was favoured to win, so the Chiefs were favourites heading into this match. Oh, that is just going to find touch. That's a great kick. And now the Chiefs will find themselves down by the Crusaders 22. Chiefs are, says Highlanders fan. Yeah, even before this game did start, of course, we've seen a couple tries and whatnot, which can change momentum a bit. But yeah, Chiefs are still favourites in this match. Who's on the bench for the Chiefs? They've already had to make 2 of their changes. We have already seen Summer Penifino come on for Jacobson and Quintapai on for Rameka Poihipi. But even with those changes, they have still got a few very handy players, which we will be looking at halftime. But now Tupavai, sitting 22 metres out from the line. Xavier Rowe. There was no release from Carter, says Grant. Oh, probably. But lucky then, I guess you would say. But yeah, from those sevens guys, those guys do it lightning quick. I'm not saying that he did, not saying that he didn't, because I don't even remember. I just saw him make the tackle and then jump in. But now, Xavier Rowe going off to the right-hand side. Quinn Tupaia. Now off to the right. Aidan Ross. 30 seconds remaining. Jerome Brown. How many minutes till half? 30 seconds. And Crusaders have been favoured to win after half-time. Says Chris, and that's going to be another penalty going the way of the Crusaders this time. Not releasing. And now, looks like Severis just going to take the quick tap, boots it into touch, and they're actually accepting being down by 3 at half-time. But it's been quite a hectic one. Can you do Highlanders versus Blues on Rugby 25? Maybe later, like once the updates have come out so that it's actually a better game. But until then, it's a pretty rough game to play. Like any game is, like we're trying the best to get something out of it. But yeah, need a couple more updates first. How many minutes till half? Says, oh no, that was already said. So yeah, the Chiefs are leading by 3 at halftime. So if that was your bet, then you're good. Evan, are you in South Africa or abroad? And the ratings suck, says Highlanders fan. Yeah, I think the Highlanders are actually the lowest team in Super Rugby, aren't they? Personally, who do you think will win, says Big Roll Bros? It's a tricky one because, like, I honestly think that the Chiefs have come out firing and that they look like they've got a good chance. But the Crusaders, well, what we saw in that last game up against the Hurricanes, like, you can't afford to rule them out. So I think it will either be the Chiefs by about the same margin as they beat the Blues, or the Crusaders will be right in it to the end. How's it going, bro? Says Skillsy. Doing very well, mate. And that gold made $600, says the benches with Brandon. I would call this a 50-50 game, says other side of the fence. It was a tense first half near the end. Yeah, honestly, like turnover after turnover seems to be the way of describing this first half. A lot of meters made by both sides as well. And come on, the Chiefs, says Big Roll Bros. And I'll coke back. Oh, I assume that's come back. Soon see you, mate. And I'm a sub, says Big Roll Bros. Do appreciate it. 1K on Crusaders. Money line, says David. I do notice it seems like first round we didn't have too much, but we've got, I assume you're from America, David. We do get a lot of Americans and Canadians who bet on Super Rugby for the money line, which is something that not many people here in New Zealand and Australia actually bet on. But that seems to be something that Americans absolutely love, is the money line side of things. So welcome in. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, I hope you're excited for the second half, even though I don't know if you'll be able to watch it where you are in the world. Who you think's winning, says Caden? Well, currently the score says the Chiefs, sitting 17 points to 14. Now, like, them being able to score while they were down a man, that would give them a bit of confidence, I would say. But then they also did concede a couple tries throughout their first half. Mate said Chiefs are a solid team after I said I knew the ref saved this hype team last week. So it sounds like they are up in the stats. Not watching, but round 5 is coming, says Mr. Allin. And Chiefs have been putting pressure, but Damien McKenzie is crazy, says Big Roll Bros. Also, Josh Jacobs had a couple really nice bits of work throughout that first half. Crusaders 51% possession to the 49% of the Chiefs, says Wolf Skull. Yeah, and at the moment, even with more possession, Crusaders still down by the 3 points. Moore looks way more of a 12 than a 13. Honestly, he is. Like, I don't really like him in that 13, but for the Crusaders, you can understand why he's there because of like David Hart-Veely being on the inside. Also made us Hardcore Blues too. And say that's plus 5.5. I'll let you decide that. You just told us you made a whole heap of money, so you obviously know what you're doing. How's your fantasy team looking? I don't actually have one because I'm terrible at predictions, so we don't bother trying our Super Rugby fantasy stuff. Crusaders lucky to be close, says Annoy. Although, to their credit, they've had some pretty nice play as well, the Crusaders. Like, honestly, I think both sides probably left one try at least out there. And throughout the second half, if they're more clinical, we're going to see a lot more tries happening throughout this game. But looking through at the benches, I mentioned earlier on about the fact that the Chiefs have already had to make 2 of their changes. In this case, for the Chiefs, they've already used Summer Penifino as well as Quintal Pyer. For the Chiefs, though, they have got Brodie McAllister, of course, ex-Crusaders guy, Jared Prophet, Ruben O'Neill, Marakai Selby-Rickett, Cortez Aratama, and Gideon Rappling. They are all the extra changes they can make. Then for the Crusaders, they have got Mitch Drummond off the bench. That is, of course, due to the injury of Noah Hotham. They've got James O'Connor, the experienced Wallaby, and then Dallas McLeod, who had a couple little short moments in an All Blacks kit throughout the last few years. So look forward to seeing him take to the park. I don't actually know who they'll put him on for, though, but the good news is he can play in the centres and he can also play on the wing. So he's a pretty handy, versatile type of bloke to have off the bench. Who's this player on each team, do you think? I think if we're talking about just from this game, best player for the Crusaders throughout the match would either have to go, I'd say either Cullen Grace or, I mean, Will Jordan's been solid. Sever Reese, when he's had his hands on the ball, hasn't looked too bad either. And then for the Chiefs, I mean, McKenzie's been solid at the back. That 50-22 was a massive one. Oh, they've got the catch, the Colonel. Oh, Colonel slowed down. He's going to win himself, I think, $500 worth of KFC. That's probably about 5 burgers nowadays with inflation. Do you think Crusaders can score 2 more tries again? I know nothing about Rugby Says Adventures. So that's another bet that you're trying to put on. Honestly, it's possible, but at the same time, if the Chiefs' defence holds strong, they'll struggle. But honestly, it could go either way. We're seeing here the quick try coming for Amoni Narawa in the 5th minute. And tied with penalties for both teams. Moneyline Chiefs and moneyline on a Japanese player playing tennis. Let's go. Says Salvador. Are you actually allowed to show us the game? Oh, is that not allowed? That is sadly not allowed. Due to licensing, any match footage or audio would get you taken straight off YouTube. Anyone want to bet that Chiefs win this one? Says Big Rolls. And $500 KFC is a good deal. My bad, Hamish. Forgot to hit the like. Do your thing, brother. Says Mr. All-In. Yeah, anyone who isn't already, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. You all being here. Why did Joey Manu sign for France team instead of the Kiwi Super team? Probably, I think, money would be all right. $14 here for a KFC meal. Says Adventures. He's kicking off second half. So second half will be kicked off by the Chiefs, as we did see the Crusaders in the first half kick it straight into touch for their very first one. How long until the second half starts? Probably another 5-10 minutes. Probably not 10, but yeah, about 5 to 8 minutes, I would say, is what we've got. And Byams and KFC just Uber. So here's the NZ guy. Do you think the 5.5 plus spread for the Crusaders is a lock? Or should I avoid the line? We've got so many. I don't know what it is. The halftime break, we've got a lot of people looking at that spread, I've noticed. But honestly, Super Rugby's too unpredictable. We've been watching for years and years, and I still don't know who's going to win this game. Chiefs have momentum. They're winning by 3, but the Crusaders can turn it on just like that. So it's very over or under 61.5. Could go either way. 31 points already. Could be more. Could be less second half. Sorry, I couldn't hate with you. Fragile, sensitive little foul. Put me in timeout. Says Fluffy. And go the Satyr. Says Sakabola. And 250 people. Keep up the good work, bro. Says Caden. And Big Rolls. I look no further than the Chiefs. And morning, Hamish. So nice to get to work and get a notification from the lads. Great way to start a Friday. I use the app at $9 for Zinging Meal in Oz. $9 Zinger meals. That's very reasonable. I think for $9 here, you can get like a little popcorn chicken. Well, that's at least about $7 or $8 of it gone, and then you don't get a lot else. They're just talking about that failure of HIA for Luke Jacobson, so that means that he will not be there next week. He will be missing. And while we're at it, we might as well mention who everyone is going to be playing next week. What we will do is we will go here, and we will go here as well. So, in terms of next week's fixtures for Super Rugby, Moana Pacifica will take on the Highlanders, Waratahs versus the Drua, Chiefs versus Brumbies, Hurricanes versus Blues, and then Force versus the Reds. So, yeah, that is the early game on Saturday. We will get to the Chiefs taking on the Brumbies, but this is the way that the table currently sits. Chiefs at the top of the bunch, and then in second, as you can see, it is the Crusaders. So top of the table clash, still very early on in the season, so plenty of time for ground to be made up for these other sides, including the Blues and Hurricanes, who are at the bottom of the bunch. Second half, just about to start up, I believe. Do you rate Harry Wilson for the Reds, or is he no good? Big debate in Australia. I think that he's a great player, but it depends, because a lot of people who don't like Harry Wilson normally say they want to see Valentini in that 8 jersey, and that's one of their main factors for not wanting Wilson. But like Wilson's numbers in Super Rugby, they are extremely impressive, but sadly, every once in a while at international, we don't really see that same intensity. We have got their Brumbies to go top this season, says Rock. And also 2 more tries for the Crusaders, says Nina. And we have also got their evening Kiwi lads just home after a hard day at work. How's the Chiefs going? They're not going too bad. They've scored 2 tries. Amoni Narawa getting the first. And then also just being able to once again show exactly how dangerous they are close to the line. Xavier Rowe with that pick and go second try. And we have got, I think I missed a couple messages, didn't I? I did. You picked her? Hate is always around, brother. We are humans. We're born with it, says Drape. And we have got there, do you cover most Super Rugby? I just happened to come across your channel. You're a chill dude. We do indeed. So we're going to be covering probably 80% of Super Rugby this year, I'd say, somewhere around there. So of this weekend, we're covering 4 of the 5 games, including the one that has taken place in only an hour and 45, or in fact, only an hour and 30 minutes time between Moana Pacifica and the Reds. If you think of the Chiefs team, who is a first legendary player you think of? I don't know why, but as soon as you said Chiefs, the first player that popped into my head, like not so much, well, legendary in some regards, but Stephen Donald for some reason was the very first Chiefs player that popped into my head. When you think about it a little bit more, the likes of a Liam Messam like sneaks in there, but just first Chiefs player that I could think of from yesteryear was Stephen Donald. As the Stormers playing this weekend, they are not, but the Bulls are taking on the Lions, and we will be covering that one on the channel. Who do you think will win this year, in your opinion? This is going to be taken not so much out of context, but people will say that I'm biased, but I do believe that the New Zealand sides have a very good chance. Like, I think that the Blues will be somewhere up there. I think the Chiefs, Crusaders, they will all be definitely in semi-final contention. The Canes possibly in there as well. Up the Blues. Coming first at the wrong end of the table. Never mind, go the Blues, says Ty. When I think of Chiefs, Taylor Swift comes to mind. Wrong sport, I know. I thought it was funny, says Adventures. I know you're back in tomorrow, the Highlanders or the Blues, says Chris. It's down in Dunedin, and that, for me, is a little bit of an equaliser. But the biggest thing with that game is discipline. If the Blues are disciplined, they should win. But if they give away their normal penalty count like they were last week, as well as, like, it did happen last season. Like, I know a lot of people have already talked about that game last week in terms of the amount of penalties against the Blues, but that was not their first time giving away that many. In fact, they regularly gave away that many the season before. So it just has to be that little bit more discipline, because their scrum's going to be dominant this year by the looks of it, if they can use it well and if they can stay disciplined. The second half, I would say, is only maybe a minute or 2 away. Heaven forbid, Swifties, OMG, says Davin the Mod, and the Blues will win, says Chris. And don't worry about the Blues early days yet. Yeah, they'll find their stride. And I honestly think it will be within the next couple of weeks that we see them back to full force. But we are just about ready for the second half. It actually was around that 10 minutes. I said 10 and I changed it because I thought it was too long, but it probably was 10. We have the I Just Can't, another Canes title. Or no, that might be I Just Want. A final week Chiefs versus Canes, I can feel it. Says Big Roll Bros. Maybe. And Satutu is back, says Spider Mech. True. Although I didn't think Cameron Sewer 4 went awfully last week. You know, like he went all right. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see who makes the big difference for certain sides. We have there also Blues need to stay away from too much KFC, says Ty. Although the bloke at halftime, he won $500 worth. He'll be very happy. He'll be able to shout the whole team KFC. Well, could you? It's a lot of chicken, but some big boys across that 23. You're probably, 4 or 5 bits of chicken per person. Sting you about $10 a pop. You might be able to get it without the burgers, maybe. 134 fantasy points in the first half, says Highlanders fan. And AH says Mark Kiwi, welcome in, mate. You are doing extremely well. 111 tackles made from the Chiefs throughout that first half and 625 metres made for the Crusaders compared to the 311 that we did see from the Chiefs. So a lot of metres made, almost 1,000 between the sides, 6 penalties apiece. And Joseph Swilly, huge X factor for New South Wales. Says Glenn Woods. What stadium is it being played at? This one is FMG Stadium. And it's a snow day for me here in the USA, also 2 a.m. in the morning. What time is it where you're at? It is currently 8:07 p.m. New Zealand time. A little bit of a fumble off kickoff for Cullen Grace, but has managed to hang on to it. Are these 2 new halfbacks great for the AB, says Mark? And Rob Penny has an exceptionally long face. I guess so. He's quite tall though, so I feel like, is it proportionate a little bit? The Islanders are constantly or constantly underrated. On a good day, they can beat any team, says Francis. Currently playing into the win, they've said, for the Chiefs here. The Crusaders might try and use that to their advantage. Nice attacking run from Levi Moore until he is tackled by Anton Leonard-Brown. Severis running out of space, offloads to Jordan, who shovels it on to Moananu. Now Preston, off to the left-hand side, Will Jordan. Not quite going through. Leonard-Brown, he's had a busy start to the second half. That's crazy, 16 hours ahead. Says Adventures, that is true. But we are going to be covering live streams all throughout the weekend at decent hours for you in the USA. Nice shovel on, or rough pass to David Arvilli, who has handled it very well. Now, Cullen Grace tackled again. Ball's gone out the back. Preston goes up to Shafiaki. Oh. Fletcher Null is gone for this half, they've just said. There's a bit of a story, so we have to find out what it is. But inside ball to Will Jordan on the outside. Levi Moore tackled high from Damian McKenzie. Looked like it was round the chin. Now, Leo Willie, 10 metres out from the line. Preston goes across to Mighty Williams. Hanging on to him there was Josh Lord. Preston, tries to go to Shelfoon, but it was a little bit too low. It's on Love This Channel. You're so nice and care about everyone, says Big Roll Bros. KFC here is gross, is what I learned how to cook my own KFC. Oh, that is why, sorry. Is O'Connor on the field? Yeah, he is not, no. But, right, Fletcher Null failed an HIA, they've just said. Oh, okay. So they've just said there for Fletcher Null, he had an HIA. His mouthguard said that he had to go for one right near the end of the half, even though at that point, I think they just said that he wasn't in contact or anything. Macca tackling around the chin. They don't think he could reach that IJK, says Glenn Woods. But now, yeah, so a delayed reaction to his mouthguard? Like his mouth guard lagged, I guess. It's not ideal. And yep, me tastes a million times better. What even happened to him? See, I think he was actually a player who got hit in the head, wasn't he? Was he the one who got tackled by Tupavai, that two-man tackle? Nice attack and run from Super Reese, though. Now, rough class. That's going to be a tackle off the ball from Anton Leonard-Brown, giving away an easy advantage in favour of the away side. Quintabai gets in, and they will go back for the knock-on. Now, how does rugby end in a tie/draw? Can someone explain? At the end of the 80 minutes and the end of play when both sides are on the same points. So same as the NFL, same with the NHL. So it's pretty much without golden point. But because this is Super Rugby, we do have golden point for the 10 minutes. And then after that period, it is then a draw. We have good here. I noticed everyone got their own spices. It's mean, bro. I'm a newbie, but what's the difference between rugby league and rugby union? Rugby league is more structured in some regards in terms of you have sets with the ball, so 6 phases or six tackles, and then you have to get rid of it type thing. You have to kick it or anything along those lines. But yeah, that's probably the biggest difference. Scrums in union, you're pushing. Rugby league, it's just more of a set play technicality to get the ball back out. Now Preston, in fact this time it is Kamara. And just get through one of the Chiefs tacklers. Already 44 minutes through, the ball is out and it is stolen by Tupavai off to the left-hand side. Draw is called when one team wins by... no, it's not. No, it is the same points after the golden point, of course, of Super Rugby. Not all union competitions do have that. Some of them just finish as a draw. But Super Rugby, it's just that little bit different. Now Xavier Rowe, I should say, rolling this ball back again. He has been told to use it. Kicked high. And, Will Jordan goes up for it and doesn't manage to claim it. Xavier Rowe. Knock on into touch. Reese decides against throwing the big pass. And Rowe has actually stayed down here. Sorry, I thought a draw was one team. We have got there. Let's go. The Chiefs, says Gabriel, and got it thanks, says the benches. Yeah, he doesn't look too good here, Xavier Rowe. It looks like James O'Connor now will make his way onto the field. And Kamara, only having that 45 minutes. He's had a couple decent moments. What if Union get rid of the scrum thing, Hamish? As in, like, if they got rid of it, what's the difference between Union and League then? Or what's the question? I don't think they'll get rid of a scrum completely. Not unless the Springboks dominate it too much. Well, rugby will say, no, we can't have that anymore. Now, big attack and run forward from Shalfoon. James O'Connor goes across to David Harvili, who bumps out of 2 tackles. He's still going, that's holding back from Josh Lord. It's not going to matter, though. Sever Reese manages to get there. It's an off, or it's a knock-on. This is going to go back for a penalty. Holding on. Josh Lord would not let go of James O'Connor's jumper. That's got to be close to a yellow card, doesn't it? Number 4 holding on. Probably saved a try in some regards. I think they're going to take on the 3, though, and that will take us back to 17-17. But yeah, so Josh Lord holding him back. Luckily, Sever Reese was still there as well. Scrums do make players puff out quickly. That's why they've got replacement forwards. We go there. Yes, Sever, you can make another try and yellow card for the Chiefs, says Chris. And try saving tackle, that says good and hard. Josh Lord. Okay, Justin Marshall was not happy with it. He said that he feels they have got it wrong. James O'Connor, though, he will be lining up this kick. Earlier on, we saw Shefiaki. And good on him, saving the try, says a big roll bros. And clubs should find players for yellow or red. And the kick has gone over from O'Connor. And now 17 all between these two teams. At 17 all, let's go Crusaders. Got to make my money back from the NBA. Says Adventures with Brandon. Who's the referee in charge of this one is Angus Gardner, although it's, of course, the TMO. Normally that would make those bigger decisions. Josh Jacob kicking this one off down towards the 22. And Mina O'Connor says Matthew, loose ball. Levi Moore, he's dropped that one as well. Shea Fiaki goes across to Christian Leo Willie. And yes, says Nina and Chief Suck, they need to get on the front foot. Says Jack Lewis. Cullen Grace now. Looked like for a second he was going to be setting up for the box kick, but instead goes off to Moananu. And Aussie killing it, says Reflecting Trees. It looks like a beautiful evening in Hamilton, says Gerhard. Yeah, the sun was out till probably about an hour ago, or maybe a little bit less than that, and it still stayed fine, even though there was a bit of rain earlier on. Refs should be held accountable. If they ref a ball game, they should be carded to stand down the next game too. That's the kind of system they actually use for the World Cup in a way. Not with the cards, but they do pick the playoff games for the referees based on their performances up till that stage. And Union caters for more variety of skills, body sizes, and can flow spectacularly, says Francis. Now quickly, up to 45 metres out from the line, the Chiefs back in position here. Josh Lord, Jacob, short ball to Jerome Brown. And Leg, you don't have to fight for possession, you can get it on a plate. They have no lineouts and 6 tackles to do something, says other side of the fence. Now Summer Penny Fee now. Crusaders, offside penalty going against them now. Come on the Chiefs. Is it summertime for you guys there? We're pretty much coming out of summer now. I believe that's going to be now past our white Quintal Pyre. That looked forward to Leroy Carter, but he has got plenty of space to work with. Bulldozers through and scores the try. They'll just have to check that pass to Carter, but that is a finish and a half. He hardly even got bumped towards the sideline when he drove his way forward. Like they've just said, pinpoint accuracy there for the passes. Right, Amoni Narua. No, it's Quintapi's. That angle doesn't really show it, but it was. Oh, look at that, just bumping off Preston. It's definitely a power discrepancy. And you get that power from playing in sevens. You have to finish one-on-one more times than not. And come on, the Crusaders, says Chris Hayes. Looks forward-ish. And obviously forward says rock my balls. And damn, that man got wheels. Yeah, he's got plenty of pace. No substitute for sheer pace. And pure power as well. Right next to the touchline. If that was not forward, then that's a great finish, says Grant. Has missed away to the side for Mackenzie. So I will make the score now 22 points to 17. And clear forward, says Mark. A couple of the other angles that make it very hard to tell, but just from that first initial broadcast angle, it was certainly flat. This is the Chiefs. Yeah, says Big Roll Bros. You got the impression the Crusaders may be back sooner or later? A little bit. I think they'll finish a lot higher than they did last year. I don't know anything about rugby, but I got 18 on the Chiefs at 2 a.m, says Cam. So you are also in America, I would assume, with that time zone. And it was forward, says Chris. And let's go the Chiefs, says Gabriel. Now the Chiefs back in position. Let's go the Mighty Chiefs. Keep up the momentum and can't wait for the weather in Melbourne tomorrow. It's going to be a nice warm 35 degrees. I wish it was in the 40s though. 35's probably, I would say, good enough. Like we're 14 degrees here. So like I'd take 30. I'd take 25. And TMO plus ref and the Chiefs are family. F is wrong with these reviews. Says rock my bees. Woo Chiefs, I am 2. Like 2 years old. Oh, O'Connor looks for the offload, gives it straight to Amoni Narua. Now foot race. Cortez Ratima putting pressure on Reese. Pushes him down to the ground. Amoni Narua now. Counter right coming from the Chiefs who have managed to steal it. Ratima, they have got so many numbers and it's only Moananu who's in front of them. And Summer Penny Fee now scores again. It's got Barrett quiet. See, here's Mark Kiwi. not a big fan, but the Crusaders remains a champions team. I dropped 1K on the Chiefs. I've never watched rugby. Am I cooked? Says Joe. I mean, they've scored again, so that is good news. I always find it amazing that for a sport that you haven't watched, you're willing to put 1,000 on it just in case. You never know, I guess. But nicely done. That counter-attack from the Chiefs after getting the steal. Amoni Narua at the moment's got to be up there for man of the match with what he's been able to do throughout this contest. And the Chiefs says, good hard. I don't miss those 14-degree days in summer, says Matthew. Now McKenzie lining up this one. The Chiefs are ahead by 10 at the moment, and that makes it 12. The try needs a review, says Grant, who just scored. So the try went to Summer Penny Fee now in the end. He was the man who ended up in the right position. But honestly, he could have gone on the outside to Leonard Brown, who had the outside option of McKenzie, who had the outside option of Carter. There were about 4-on-1, and poor Moananu was by himself trying to defend against a whole heap of backs. And, of course, Finau, there we see Jimmy Tupou as well as Wallace Satiti with a big smile on his face. Now, breaking straight through again for the Chiefs. Simon Parker offloads up to Jerome Brown. He has dropped the ball, and Will Jordan just runs out of space. They will go back for the original scrum feed in favour of the Crusaders. Crusaders, this ain't the Hurricanes that look like a bush on Reese while in the air, says Grant. And is Dan Carter playing tonight? He is not, but Leroy Carter is, which there will be a bit of confusion around that name, of course, because normally the only one that gets thought of is, of course, Dan Carter. But yeah, there's a new Carter in town, and his name is Leroy. And why did I bet Crusaders spread low? There's still time, though. 12 points difference, 2 converted tries, and they're back in it, Shut up, Kiwi lad, says James Speed. What sentence specifically is the one to shut up about? Was it because it would have been that I said something about a side doing well, who obviously weren't your team? I would assume. Dan Carter is playing with his... Oh, no. I got to head to the liquor store, buying Grandma some whiskey. Cheer. That's going to be a penalty going the way of the Chiefs now at scrum time. Roger Doyle asks the Chiefs seem to have found his mojo since joining the Warriors, which is great for him in league, says Tanai. Yeah, he was one of those guys that a lot of hype when he joined with the Blues, but he never really took to Union in the way that people hoped he would. So, it's great that he did decide to go back, not just for, himself, but also, it's benefiting rugby league too. Leroy's been carving it up in the NPC for Bay of Plenty last couple of years as well. That is true. Also doing brilliantly for the All Black Sevens. The Chiefs have got possession again. They'll be 30 metres out from the line. Off to the left, Josh Jacobs, short ball to Jerome Brown. Getting over the ball. They've said he's on the body. So Leo Willie doesn't get the steal. Passed out wide from McKenzie. Moni Narua kicks it inwards. Loose ball. Jordan is there to pick it up, and that will be a goal line dropout. Tell you what, the pressure is well and truly on the Crusaders now. I don't know what's happened in the last 5 minutes or so, but they have found about 6th gear, and they are just not slowing down. But now, 23 minutes remaining in this one. Kicked the 22 dropout of Moni Narua. Goes off to Summer Penny Fee now. Drops his head and runs straight at Shelfoon. So it is just surviving. Game over. Going to eat breakfast. Be back for the Reds. Enjoy, mate. Says Bhavani. And that's going to be another knock on this time from the Chiefs. Crusaders scrum feed. Well, both teams are going to be gassed by about the 65th, I would say, if we continue going at this tempo. They are just not slowing down. What's the time right now, says Big Roll Bros? At the moment, we're 57.5 minutes through the game. So, still a lot of time remaining. Playing a little bit of wagon wheel. Looks like a decent crowd as well for this game. Did McKenzie start at 10 or move from 15 to 10? Says Ronaldo. So, he was starting at 15. Over and under what score? Says A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You didn't miss any. But, it's going to be I can't tell you. Honestly, it's going to be high scoring, just like Super Rugby normally is. But now, Preston goes off to James O'Connor. That looked close to flat as well. O'Connor tries to round the back flick pass, and it's knocked on by the Chiefs. A little bit lucky there. Who holds the Ranfurly Shield at the moment? Forgot which team it has it. I think it's Tasman, isn't it? I'll have a quick Google. I think Tasman have it, because Wellington lost it at one point. Oh, no, sorry, Taranaki have it. Did they take it off Tasman? Who was it in the... Was it Josh Jacob was playing for Taranaki in that game? Did they manage to get it? Is this the last one? It is my birthday today. It is not the last one. It is the first one of about 24 hours of commentary that we are doing over the next 3.5 days. So, I guess the voice is going all right currently, but by the end of the weekend, we're going to be very sleep deprived. Probably no voice, but we'll still be here. I got the over 58. James O'Connor will win it for the Crusaders this game. Just watch, says Distorted. Looks like the Chiefs are going to be able to take the quick tap yet again here. Jerome Brown. Thought about offloading. Ripped away by Christian Leo Willie, who actually looked like he knocked it on to the breakdown, then picked it back up there. David Havili, standing start. Will go for a kick of his own. Got the wind in his favour. Looking for the 50-22. Ball is curving, but it's going to go all the way too far. And they go right back to where it was kicked from. Tasman held the line versus Wellington, then lost to Naki. And second defence, says Studs Ray. And James O'Connor will win it for the Crusaders this game. Just watch. So far, he's made about 2 errors that have led to chances for the Chiefs. But he is an X-Factor player. He can find some magic out there every once in a while. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see whether or not it will be the case. But, Sever Reese, is he making his way from the field? No, he is going to stay out there for just a little bit longer. And can't wait to see us play Northern Hemisphere. Says Mark Kiwi. Preston will win it for the Crusaders. Oh, so you're going the youngster to be able to step up and complete the game for them. It'd need that hat trick again. Because if he can't do that, they're going to find it tough. Hi, Hamish, says Scott Jones. Welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well, mate. And Crusaders just give up, says Gabriel. They are the type of side that will not give up. I don't think. Anyway, they've got too many titles under the belt. Even if this current group of players don't, the mentality has to be go for it and just keep going. Big scrum from the Crusaders, but Cortez Ratama has got the ball for the Chiefs again. Jerome Brown across to Anton Leonard-Brown. Spinning awkwardly. Hopefully his knee's going to be all right there. Now two-man tackle on Tupavai by Dallas McLeod and Ethan Blackadder. Ratama across to Quinn Tupai, getting spun around by Shea Fiaki, who's lost the headgear and also might have just lost the ankle bone. That did not look good for that man. Beat Ireland in Chicago. I'll be stoked. Says Reflecting Trees. Now, Quinn Tupai, another advantage in favour of the Chiefs. Crusaders starting to become a little bit more ill-disciplined as they're starting to fatigue more. Leroy Carter drops the ball. Now they will go back for the penalty again. Just outside of the 22. But I will mention the next game is going to be kicking off in about an hour's time. That will be the matchup taking place between the Chiefs and the Reds. The Reds and Moana Pacifica. If you guys are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are back tomorrow with 2 games of Super Rugby, 1 game of the URC, 2 games of the Six Nations, and about 4 or 5 games of the Vancouver Sevens. The next day after that, we have got even more Vancouver Sevens as well as more Six Nations that we will be covering on the channel. And then the day after that, Vancouver Sevens continuing through all the way to the final. So, plenty more coming up on the channel in the near future. Jacob started a general pack and inside attacks. Does he stay at 10 all game? Normally, I don't think they normally make that switch unless, of course, someone comes off the bench. But with the sub of Quintupire, they've got Gideon Rappling, who more than likely won't be coming in as a 10. That's going to be another penalty, this time going the way of the Crusaders, as Tamaiti's still on the field. He is not. George Bauer, he is out there currently. Tamaiti, once again, having a little bit of a quiet game, I think I'd say. That kick has not found touch from the Crusaders. Oh, A little bit of a mistake from the Crusaders, though. That gives the Chiefs another attacking chance. Now back across to the right. Josh Jacob trying to get through. Black at arm back. What did I miss? Depends on when you left. We're seeing 2 tries from the Chiefs in quick succession of Leroy Carter, as well as try coming pretty much straight after by Samapeni Finau. Now Ratama. Come on the Crusaders, says Chris Hayes. McKenzie does kick the ball high. Nicely taken by Severis. Driven down by Tupaia. Now Preston back into the pocket. Will Jordan looking for the cross kick. Now Leroy Carter. Normally used to facing off against 7 men, but he's still been able to cut through 15 at times. Finau. Ratama goes across to McKenzie now. Quick hands to Simon Parker. Let's go the Chiefs, says Gabriel. Now McKenzie again with the pop pass. Looks like someone's down and back play off to this right-hand side. I'm not too sure who the number is. It looks like, is that a Moni Narua? It might be. That ball's going to roll just a bit too far, and Severis has to touch it down. Anton Linnett-Brown says he's got a try here. And it's going to be a goal line dropout, for crying out loud. They've been offside all day, says Stuart Moore, and the Chiefs mana. We're going to see it now. Yep. Does score the try, and not really that close to it, Anton Linnett-Brown, but puts in a good effort. But this is a concern in back play. Amoni Narua, I believe it was, who's still down. I hope it's just cramp. Yeah, it looks like it could be a cramp here for Amoni Narua, who has had an extremely busy day, but Gideon Rappling, he's made his way on. This Chiefs side is just All Blacks lineup. They be the champs this season, I reckon, says Rock. Yeah, no, he's still cramping up big time, Amoni Narua. And the touch judge is saying you have to get off the field. He's going, try and move me because I can't. Now, it's going to stay on the field of play by the looks of it. Now, Samapeni Finau crashes hard at the line. It looks like for now he's going to still be on the field. But they have also made the change of Gideon Rappling. The Chiefs side is just the AB's lineup. Yeah, although a few of those guys in there have had All Blacks caps, but not a lot of All Blacks minutes, we've got to remember. The likes of Tupaia, who unfortunately hasn't really gained a huge amount of time in there since his injury. Amoni Narua, he was only in and out throughout that last season. Not held, so able to go again for Tupavai, tackled by James O'Connor. Now Ratama goes across to Jacob, Linnett-Brown, Simon Parker. That looked forward too. And now Quinn Tupaia moving it 10 metres out. Couldn't quite link up with the next one. Now McKenzie passes to Jacob, who will go himself, and they will score again now, the Chiefs. Will Razor replace Leon McDonald and the coaching staff, says Tanay. Or Tanai, sorry, I should say. Wait, will Razor replace Leon McDonald and the coaching staff? Possibly at some point, although they do still have plenty of... it's flat from Simon Parker. And it was a forward pass, says Chris. And try, says David the Mob. But now the score, it is getting pretty one-sided. Morning Hamish from a damp but mild at last. Herefordshire, says Gurno Week in 17-17. And it was, they have turned the screw since, says Jack, and the bonus point. An evening, Hamish, says Peter Weil. Welcome in, mate. Bonus point on the cards now. If they can keep that lead of 3 or more tries than their opposition, that ball has been shanked by McKenzie. But still a 17-point buffer. No more Crusaders, says SS2. And go the Chiefs, says Peter Wild. And thrashing, says Gabriel. But yeah, just some... Yeah, they're just showing that one again. Certainly close to flat. And Chiefs will win for sure. And how many minutes in now? So currently 67 minutes in. There's still another 13. The Chiefs kicking now, says other side. Booted downfield from Simon Parker. Well controlled at the back from... Oh, no. In fact, he's knocked it on. Will Jordan. That's about his, I want to say, 5th handling error in this game. But it's certainly not what you expect. I know he got a lot in fantasy and whatnot last week. People were praising him. So anyone who picked Will Jordan this week will be thoroughly disappointed. Why do the Wallabies always steal New Zealand coaches? Says Matthew, because there are a lot of coaches who are from New Zealand who have got quite decorated careers. That's pretty much the easiest way. They play a similar style of rugby to what the Australians do / want to. So it just makes sense. You're not bringing a coach in from the north, so a lot less travel involved. They're all reasons. Chiefs are on fire. There's Gabriel. Off to the right-hand side, Damian McKenzie gets the pass away. Jacob goes with a kick in behind. It won't be a 50-22, but it is a very nice territory gainer. And Jesus, Scott Barrett even on the field. Honestly, I couldn't tell you anymore. I haven't seen him in a very long time. Well, Jordan, hang on. Shalfoon's on there still. Oh, yeah, Barrett is out there. And Jordan Porter Knights his other side of the fence. And Jordan having a real shocker and say it is a hot and cold team. Says reflecting trees. But now getting ready to throw this one in. Moananu. I see taken by Shalfoon. Drummond has made his way on for Kyle Preston. We also see Cahill. Now O'Connor doesn't find touch with it. -7 here. Wish I was in New Zealand. Says Peter Wild. Now attack and run from Gideon Rappling. Another great shot on him. But the Chiefs, if they can score once more, that will help them drastically towards securing that bonus point. For Super Rugby, of course, it is not 4 tries like a lot of other competitions. It is 3 or more tries than your opposition. So it would be a statement if they were able to do it up against the other side, who are at the top of the table. Tupavai offloads to Jacob now. Goes for the grubber in behind. Leroy Carter chasing after it. It's going to be cleaned up at the back by James O'Connor. Slowly gets pushed towards the sideline by Carter. And Jesus so strong. Says Gabriel. Now Dallas McLeod goes infield to Blackadder. Still only about 7 out from their line. And they're being told to use it. Drummond. Looks like he's going to go back into the pocket instead of kicking it himself. David Havili looks for the touchline, and it will be about maybe 12 metres out from the line now. I don't know what Degrees is like. Never get Degrees in Auckland. Says other side of the fence. It looked like Luke Jacobson was doing relatively well for a man who failed his HIA. He was smiling and laughing on the sideline, but either way, from failing that, he won't be able to play in next week's contest, where we do see the Chiefs go head-to-head with the Brumbies. Who's closer to scoring at the moment? The Chiefs are about 22 metres out after a couple passes, but it is not straight. So now it's going to be the Crusaders ball. Brodie McAllister, the replacement hooker, man who used to play for the Crusaders, has just thrown the not straight one. I was wondering how that bonus point worked, Cheers H, says Glenwood. So yeah, it is 3 or more than your opposition. So like one team could score 10 tries, the other team could score 8, and the team that scored 10 don't get a bonus point, which is, it's unique, but it is something that Super Rugby do use. Scott Barrow looking very old and unfit, says Mark Kiwi. And Chiefs line out their only kryptonite tonight. Yeah, that's probably fair. Like, they have really struggled in that department, although this time it works out. Jerome Brown, short ball off to Simon Parker. He's through again. He's got Quinton Pyle with him. Second assist, or at least close to an assist. That one certainly is, but the last one, not quite. But Simon Parker's having a field day. And that is another try for the Chiefs. Just in the right place, right time. Everyone working together as one. Who do you think will win Super Rugby this year? I said earlier on, I do think a New Zealand side has a good shot. You know, I mean, the Chiefs are certainly looking like contenders after just 2 weeks, but the injury count could be something that hurts them. Chiefs line out on fire, says Studs Ray. And it's so embarrassing, says Gabriel Chand. And also we have got there, how well Chiefs could get 50. Now McKenzie lining up this kick. Geez all day, though this is terrible, says Reflecting Trees. And that kick has gone over. Now going to make the score 41-17. Not much enthusiasm from Marshy. I wonder why. Says Vic. Yeah, the injuries are crazy. Yeah, I think that's two now? 3, in fact, maybe from this game if you count the cramp. But yeah, hopefully they aren't going to lose too many more. And also Chiefs ripping Crusaders to shreds now, says Gerhard. And yeah, we're gone from round number 1 where it was all pretty much extremely close games. This one, you know, there's quite a difference. Nice run down the short side. Josh Jacob flicks it on the inside. Finds Manakai Selby Ricker as 2 men with him. Goes to Leroy Carter. That was maybe held on to a little bit too long from Selby Ricker. The Chiefs again have the Crusaders scrambling. Wide cutout pass. Reece rushes up, I should say, and misses the tackle. Vai goes out to Quintupaya. And it is another try. Back to back. For Quintupaya, Clayton McMillan has a massive smile on his face as they have just cut them open again. And Crusaders' last good year was 2023. No way, Crusaders are fraudsters, says Stephen Pope. And they should be taking Harvey off and moving on board to 12 and McLeod to 13. And Jacob is in the ABs this year, says Studs Race. Oh, well, damn, either I know Crusaders stand no chance from last year or this Chiefs team was hype. Man, it feels good. Really nicely done. Severin Reese misses the tackle. And then Will Jordan, as much as he wanted to catch up with Quintupaya, he just couldn't quite get there. Yeah, the mighty Waikato Chiefs to win this year. And someone give me a Chiefs spell, says. It was there from Flabber Nabber. Like straight up, I mean James O'Connor. But now, McKenzie strikes. Misses away to the side again. As he was so average now, says SS2. And does this mean the Canes are hopeless from last week? I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think that Hurricanes and Crusaders matched each other quite nicely. And this is certainly a worse performance than we saw from the Crusaders last week. But the Chiefs have just taken their chances and they have run with them. You know, they've made very good decisions passing-wise. And they're just, in terms of ball retention and getting it back, there's just a bit of aggression there, which is actually really good to see because they are a physical side. And they should be able to use that. The ball is loose now, though. Picked up by Mitch Drummond. Quintupaya says, big roll, bros. I'd say he'll be starting next week, and not just because of the injury that we did see of... It's bad. I've already forgotten who it was. I think it was Rameka Poyapi starting at 12, wasn't it? He had the hamstring injury. Nice pickup from McKenzie, met by Jordan, who got him a little bit high. And now looking to get the turnover just out from the line. Jordan gets the steal. Crusaders looking to get one back. Christian Leo Willie, just short. Justin saying that they should have gone to the right, but they'll go left instead. And Shelfoon scores for the Crusaders. That is another try, ladies and gents. And we're just going back to back now for both of these teams. We're already up to 68 points, and I feel like there's still more to come with the last 4 minutes. It's going to be a cricket score. This rate, it'll be my betting average, says Stuart Moore. We have got there, Cowboys going crazy, says Gerhard. Embarrassing for the Crusaders, says Gabriel, but Shelfoon puts up his fin for the Tasman Marcos. Would you believe the All Blacks captain has been on the field for the whole game, says Crotimus? Probably not, no. He's had a quiet game, old Barrett. Will Jordan, he's been poor at the back, unfortunately, for the Crusaders. And then we also, we had a little moment where we saw Severis, but the rest of the game, he's been a little bit invisible. I didn't see that one coming. And now I'm proud of the Crusaders, says Lord Rapture. And James O'Connor does get the kick over, which now makes the score 46 points to 24. The bonus point is still in play for the Chiefs. I think they're ahead by 4 tries currently, if I'm correct. It's very hard to remember with the amount that we have seen, but I think that they still are in a position now, even if the Crusaders were scoring again in the next 3 minutes, they don't lose that bonus point. Now, it's going to be a kickoff again from the Chiefs out on the full. I got 2 players in tonight's game. Most of my team plays tomorrow. How much you on in fantasy? I do not do the fantasy side of things just because I suck at it, is pretty much the best way of describing. And 22-point gap. Now, Chiefs doing exactly what the Crusaders did in that first half, and that is kicking it out on the full. Now, 77.5 minutes in. Chance again here for the Crusaders scrum. If the Chiefs keep it up, I might get boost on one of them in round 7. I believe those golden points are going to be gold this year. And do Moana have any chance against the Reds? Are we expecting a Reds win? I need this for my bet. Reds win Moana 6-1. Surely that's a win for the Reds, says Jack. I mean, they come in as favourites, but the one benefit that Moana Pacifica have for that game is the fact that they played last week, whereas the Reds have not. And we saw a little bit of rust for a lot of sides throughout their first halves last week. Chiefs get over 50 surely, says Big Roll. Big scrum, and the Chiefs do get the penalty at scrum time against the feed. So that is a big one for their confidence. No offense, Hamish, your team is us. Who's my team? I assume you're saying the Crusaders, but they are not my side. 2 more Crusaders. Come on, we got this Crusader, says Nina. I want Moana to get crushed, says Jack. I hope the Chiefs maintain this level of intensity next week versus the Brumbies. And everyone says Judah in 2013, the last time a New Zealand side didn't win Super Rugby, up the Chiefs, says other side of the fence. Now 1 minute remaining and the Chiefs still have a chance to bring up the 50 points. And that's nicely claimed by Summer Penny Finau, almost stolen by Barrett. And line out time, little pop pass up from Damien McKenzie straight to Quinn Tupaia. Now that's going to be another advantage. McKenzie goes off now. Don't lie, Hamish, you know, says Mr. All-In. And I'm a Chiefs fan, says Big Roll Bros. I wanted to go all season winless. How about that prediction, says Jack Lewis? I don't know. I mean, they only lost by 1 point to the Western Force. So, like, there's a chance that they can do well. That's going to be another penalty going the way of the Chiefs. They've got the option of taking it quickly. If they take the 3, this will bring them up to 49. This is the most points the Chiefs have scored versus the Crusaders, previously 40 in 2019. So a record has been set. And it looks like they are going to be taking on the 3. Would you have Harvilli on your ABs this year? Honestly, he hasn't been too bad in that 12 jersey, although in this game, Quinton Tupaia still, I think, did that a little bit better. Kane's looking bad this year, unfortunately, says SS2. Tell Tony his name is George. Right. Do you watch any Aussie horse racing? Nah, not really, to be honest. My uncle does, though. He'd have a lot more, knowledge about it. Mackenzie smiling at the sticks. 40 metres out. And it's coming round. And it's over for the Chiefs. And that will close out what has been an impressive win for this Chiefs side. 49 points to 24. Chiefs suck. I don't know whether 49 points can equate to sucking, depending on what type of sucking you're talking. But big win. 25 points in their favour. Mackenzie smiles. Suppose catching his praise, says Jack. And ask him his opinion on the Collette family. They are from New Zealand but race in Australia. I'll have to star that. I'll try and remember to do so. Who would you give player of the match to? Amoni Narua looked good for the man of the match award early. Quinton Tupaia came onto the field after the early injury of Rame Kapoiapi, and he did very well too. Mackenzie and Jake. I think Jacob might have half a chance. Maybe. And mate, 49 average, that's a big score for Penny. It certainly is. A large score indeed. They got led away with a lot of penalties the second half, says Chris. Yeah, although that still doesn't equate to 25 points, I wouldn't say, in this one. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Our next live stream will be in around 45 minutes' time. And that is the matchup between Moana Pacifica when they do go head-to-head with the Reds. But nonetheless, there we go. Man of the match is Amoni Narua. And they are just talking about the most points ever that they've been able to get. Thanks for the commentary, Hamish, up against the Crusaders. I should add to that statement. But yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.